Now that you know how powerful a long form and evergreen content strategy can be, let's map out your strategy in this video. That way you can start attracting leads sooner into your business and stop chasing them. So I just want to recap real quick what we've talked about in the last couple of videos from this playlist. We've talked about why social media and marketing on Instagram should not be your only platform. We've talked about the power of evergreen long form content and what that can do for your business. And we've talked about the mistakes, how you can avoid them when you are implementing this into your real estate business. And then I've given you a little bit of a case study in my own business about how this has been working for me as of my most recent results when it comes to our team YouTube channel. So now I'm going to walk you through step by step how to build an evergreen content strategy for your real estate business. So the very first thing that you want to do is choose whatever your primary platform is going to be to start. Now, eventually, I believe every single real estate agent and team should have both a website that they own, again, your online real estate, and also a YouTube channel. But we want to start with one and get that going, get some content up there. That way you're not splitting your focus too much because you're also going to be doing other things in your real estate business. You're probably still going to be creating social media content of some kind or present on social media. You still have to follow up with leads and work with your existing clients. So choose whatever your primary platform is going to be. And if you believe that writing comes easier to you, or if you believe that just talking, speaking to the camera, doing video is easier for you, then pick the right platform according to those factors. Now listen, you do not have to be a professional writer, you don't have to be an author, and you don't have to be a professional on video. You just have to be willing to create the content. It doesn't matter. I talk about this with the ladies in my membership. It doesn't matter your starting skill set. We're going to develop this skill set over time. What matters is your willingness to be dedicated to the strategy and showing up to give the information and to be there for your future clients and the people that you are wanting to serve. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to plan out the topics that you're going to be creating content on, and you're going to be doing a lot of this based on search intent. So you want to think about your ideal client, who they are, where you're located, and you want to create content based on those communities, the niche, the problems, and their goals. So you want to be looking at search intent, you want to be doing keyword research and planning out your topics and potential topics based on that search intent. Like if they're going to Google or YouTube and looking for that information, that is a pretty good clue that it is something that you could and probably should be creating content on. So once you end up creating the content, that's the third step. So you're going to have to write the content, or you're going to have to record the videos. You're going to want to create that and, decide on your schedule and your cadence. The fourth step after that is optimizing for SEO and visibility. So making sure that your content is public and that you optimize it with keywords and the technical side of SEO. Now, I teach this inside of my membership. So if you're like, I've lost you when I talked about the technical side or the SEO stuff, I do teach this more in depth, but I'll also be creating some more content in the future about doing optimization and SEO and things like that. But you want to optimize the content. That way, again, we talked about the mistakes. You want to actually make sure that the platforms like Google and YouTube and Pinterest know that you created the content and that it matches the intent with the people that are typing into their search bar for this certain topic that you created the content on. The next thing that you want to do is to create and implement a content repurposing system. Now, this could be very involved, but it doesn't have to be. The biggest things that I would recommend is that you pin your content to Pinterest. Pinterest, you're going to have to learn that platform as well, but it's really simple. It honestly is. I have a whole Pinterest playlist on this channel if you want to go check that out. But create content for Pinterest because that's another search engine. It's going to take a little bit longer than social media content, but you can start seeing traffic from Pinterest if you optimize your content well. Within a couple of weeks to the first 4 to 6 weeks, you can start seeing some traffic coming from there. And the average lifespan of a Pinterest pin is 13 months. Now, I have pins that are working much longer than that, but average is 13 months. So you can guess that if you create new content, new pins, that you are, if you're average, going to get 13 months of traffic. It's not going to always be crazy or viral, but 13 months of steady traffic out of those pins. The other thing that is really important is that after a couple of weeks, you can link that content to your email list. So if you have clients and leads that you are nurturing or they need that information, you can say, hey, I have this video on this topic. If you want to check it out and see my thoughts on, this area housing market or what to do in a certain scenario, whatever the content is about, you can link to it in your email content to your email list and to your database. That is a very valuable touch point. That's a very valuable follow-up and nurture piece of content. And so now your evergreen content is having multiple purposes. And then of course, if you are creating a YouTube video, you can eventually repurpose that by creating an accompanying blog post on your website and then embedding that YouTube video. So now not only is the YouTube video itself being able to be found on YouTube and Google, but now you have a second piece of content that is able to be found in Google as well. And then if they want to go and click through and watch on your YouTube channel, now you're creating multiple places for that video to be found. Before we exit out of this video, I want to make sure that you have the right mindset going into this. I talked briefly about this earlier, but if you are thinking to yourself right now, but I'm not good on camera, or I'm not a good writer, or this sounds too complicated, listen, you don't need to be perfect. The biggest thing that I want you to understand here is that this is not about being a professional content creator, an influencer, having to, have a certain skill set that is above average. It's really not about that. What is important here is you serving your community with real estate information and your ideal clients. That is what is most important. Skills can be learned and developed, and the only way that you're going to do that is if you actually start creating the content. I know it's scary putting yourself out on camera. When I started doing live videos in, I think that was 2016. I was a fitness trainer at the time. I was nervous, but honestly, that's the only reason that I'm comfortable getting on a video and talking about something. Now, I'm going to admit, I am not the best on camera. I'm not the best writer. There's a lot of people that I watch and I study and I learn from that are, I feel like, light years ahead of me in their skills. But the only reason that I'm comfortable on camera now, even though I know that I still have more skills to develop, is that I create the content, I practice, and I put it out there. And I'm okay not being perfect, because the truth is that it's not about you. It's about your ideal clients, about your community. And if you're not the one creating the content and serving them, somebody else is. And one of the things that is really hard to come to terms with is the fact that if you don't put yourself out there and somebody else does, but somebody else doesn't take as good of care of those people as you would, now your lack of creating the content, of putting yourself out there, has now potentially led to a lesser or a worse experience for that person. And so when we're thinking about, but I'm not good on camera, I'm not good at writing, I'm not good at creating content, you're making it about yourself, and it's just not about you. It's about the people you're trying to serve. So I say that with love. It's a hard pill to swallow when we're letting our fear and our mindset make things about us. It's hard to admit that. For a long time, I didn't want to make any phone calls after I did random phone calls when I was my first brokerage. And I had to get to a point when at a time we were doing lead follow-up phone calls a lot. And I was in sales training, and it was like, what does this person need? What do they need? What do they want, right? Don't make it about, it's not about you. It's not about how you sound. It's not about how good you are on the phone. It's about them and getting to know them and their needs and their desires and their goals so that you can serve them. And so the more that you think about your lack of skills or your view of your skills, because we're much harsher on ourselves than we need to be, the more that you are leaving your ideal clients in the hands of other people that may not treat them as good as you. If you've made it to the end of this playlist, then I already know one thing about you. You're not looking for quick marketing tips and an easy fix. You're looking for a smarter strategy, one that works long after you hit publish on a piece of content. Everything I've shared in this playlist is part of a bigger system that I teach. One where a strategy specifically built for real estate agents that are done chasing leads, paying for Zillow, paying for realtor.com, and they're done posting daily content that just ends up getting them burned out with very little results to show for it. It's called the EBY method, and it helps you attract leads and clients through content that is actually searchable. Think YouTube content, blog posts, building your email list. And all of this is going to work together to grow your audience, build your email list, and bring clients to you. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building something more sustainable, I'd love to support you inside the EBY method. You can get the full details below and either join the waitlist, or if the doors are open, join the next live round with the link below in the description. Whether you're ready now or in the future, I am ready to help you to build a real estate business that gives you your life and your time back.